Welcome back to the Green Yard and to another planting video. I know we've been doing a few planting videos so far this spring. We planted our beautiful foxtail palms. I actually had two of them. I only planted one of them over by our food forest area of the Green Yard. I actually also put one behind me just on the other side of that large clump of ice cream bananas. Today though, we're doing a planting video that I've done before. This is our beautiful Barbados cherry. If you remember from, I believe, my second episode, a very, very long time ago, back when we first had moved into the Green Yard, I did an episode about planting a Barbados cherry. I actually planted that Barbados cherry in a similar spot. It was on just almost where the ice cream bean is now, this beautiful tree right behind me here. So we're almost in that spot, a little bit further away. I planted a Barbados cherry, and unfortunately that Barbados cherry did not make it. Barbados cherry are one of the easiest tropical plants to grow here in Phoenix. They do really well with our full sun. In fact, they thrive in our full sun, and they do pretty good with our winters as well. It doesn't get too cold for them. Unfortunately, I did not protect it well enough that first winter, and that cold ended up killing that Barbados cherry. So definitely that first winter that you have them in the ground, they do need that cold protection. I had also just planted it in the fall, which might have also attributed to the lack of cold hardiness that usually our Barbados cherries have. So I got another one because I've heard that the fruit is amazing. It is one of the highest vitamin C contents in any fruit. So I definitely would love to have one in the Green Yard. I think it would be really beneficial for us to have one in our Green Yard. So we're over here by our pool and kind of the pool area. I know we've done a trimming. In fact, we winter pruned our beautiful brown turkey fig just behind me. We kind of have this bed of plants on this side, and then on the inside of the pool there is a bed of a whole bunch of our bananas, our plumeria. Now we have that foxtail palm. We also have this dwarf date palm as well in there. So the Barbados cherry will be a really good addition for this spot. Part of the reason I picked it here is because our Jamaican cherry tree doesn't seem to have made it through the winter. It was having a lot of issues last year. The year before it did great, and then last year it was having a lot of growth issues. It looked like it had some sort of disease or some issues it was having, and so it looks like it unfortunately did not make it through the winter, which is okay. I will definitely be planting another Jamaican cherry here because I absolutely love not only the tree but also the Jamaican cherry fruit. So I figure what a great addition here between our brown turkey fig and our future Jamaican cherry tree. Let's go ahead and put this Barbados cherry. So let's go ahead. I have to move some of this mulch. You'll see there's about a foot of mulch here, as well as a cardboard base to kind of get rid of some of that Bermuda grass. So let's go ahead and dig some of this out and get our Barbados cherry tree in the ground. Here we go. So I've dug our hole out for our beautiful Barbados cherry. I know it's going to do really, really well in this spot. It gets a lot of sun here, and our Barbados cherry does like a lot of sun. It loves our Phoenix sun, that hot temperature. I think it's always fun to move mulch that's been sitting here for a while because you get this really awesome broken down material, especially as you look here. You can see that it's actually started breaking down in dirt from all those microorganisms, our worms, all of our other beneficial insects that have been breaking this down. So the hole I did a little bit smaller because this has been mulched for a while, so you can see that it's already has some of that organic matter in it. Also has a lot of roots from our neighboring fig tree as well, which is right here next to us. So we're gonna go ahead, I am still gonna mix in some of our nursery soil with this clay soil that I have here next to me. Even though this clay soil does have more organic matter in it than our typical regular clay soil, I am still going to go and mix in some of that nursery soil to give our Barbados cherry the best foot forward once it's in the ground. So let's go ahead, grab that nursery soil and start mixing and planting our Barbados cherry. All right, so I didn't have any of my nursery soil left, so I had some, just some regular garden soil. I did mix that in. It doesn't have to be the best soil. You're looking for that more organically rich soil that we've talked about before. How, you know, it holds a little bit more moisture, it allows for a little bit more nutrients to be absorbed in there, and we're going to be covering it in our heavy mulch anyway, so that definitely helps too. So I went ahead and I mixed it. You'll notice before it looked kind of very clay-like this, and now once it's been mixed, it's definitely darker and has more organic matter in it, which is awesome. So I'm just going to dig out with my hands and make a space for our Barbados cherry. I'm not quite sure yet how rooted out this tree is going to be, so I'm going to make a decent sized hole, and then we're going to kind of go back and see. It is just a 3-gallon tree, so it might be really rooted out. Typically with our 3 gallons, I found that they root out pretty well, so let's give it a shot here. Oh yeah, heavily rooted out. Look at that. So typically I don't see too many root bound plants. If they are really root bound like this, I do try to break them up just a little bit. I don't want to disrupt the roots too much, but I want to make sure that they know now that, you know, they can venture elsewhere. They're not stuck in a pot anymore. So I just kind of rub the sides a little bit. That's partly why this tree has been yellowing its leaves a little bit too, I'm sure. Not too deep. Let's put some more in quick. Just like when we plant our other tropical trees, I want to make sure that I can see the root flare, which are these top roots. This root flare on this tree is very visible, so we want to make sure that that is what I'm looking at. It's also crooked, and so I'm going to plant it at an angle to allow the tree to actually grow upright instead of crooked like it was before. So I'm going to end up planting it at an angle like that. Take just a tiny bit more out. Added too much in. All right. So that looks pretty perfect. Let's go ahead and add this mixed soil back in. And now that I'm done, I'm going to add a little bit of a berm around the outside. I'm just basically going to use this extra soil that I had. Just kind of put it around the outside here. Try to keep some of that water absorbing in. And then we're just going to move some of this mulch, this really wet mulch, back in here. The nice thing with having things heavily mulched is that I don't have to go get mulch anymore. It's right here readily available to me. I just literally move it out of the way and then bring it back once it's been planted. So that looks pretty good here. I still see a little bit too much root gotta have kind of that good balance between too much root flare and not enough root flare. All right, nice. All right, so we have that gorgeous Barbados cherry tree planted in the ground. Notice I really have that mulch around the outside. I also have, you can see the root flare in here. See those top roots just barely peeking out. Barbados cherry trees, like our other tropical trees, they definitely need to breathe. Actually, every tree needs to breathe, so you definitely want to have a little root flare. And then I'm gonna spread my agricultural sulfur around. Barbados cherry trees do need that low pH, just like our other tropical trees, so definitely adding a good layer of our sulfur around as well. All right, so there we have it, our gorgeous Barbados cherry tree put in the ground. They do really well, especially in the ground here in Phoenix. Like I mentioned before, the only reason my other one didn't last, I didn't provide enough winter protection, because they don't really need winter protection, but obviously here in the green yard, we do get a little bit colder than the rest of Central Phoenix. They do need that winter protection, and a little bit more winter protection than what I provided. So I'll definitely take that into account this time. Super nutritious bush. You can grow them as a bush or a tree, so they are kind of bushy in nature, but you can prune them into a tree. So for me, I like my plants to be a little bit on the bushier side. You know that from talking about our brown turkey fig and how I'm letting that grow, our citrus trees, how I'm letting that grow. So I'm probably going to let this guy be more of a bush than a tree, but it is possible to prune them into more of a tree shape than a bush shape. So that is something that can be done with our Barbados cherries. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy some water, make sure that he's nice and watered, ready for the spring, ready for growth. And I have a feeling that it is going to do very well this summer. The only thing I might do during the summer is add a little bit of shade protection for the first year. After the first year, you know, most of our trees need a little bit of protection that first year from our sun, just because it does get so intense and so hot, which it is right now. I'm literally looking into it, if you couldn't tell. So I may give it a little bit of shade protection that first year, but after that, it's going to be on its own, and they really do thrive in our full sun environment here in Phoenix. They want it as hot as possible and as sunny as possible. So this is really a good spot, and it's going to allow a lot of our trees on the other side to thrive, because it's going to get that afternoon shade during the summer from our Barbados cherry tree. So as always, hope you guys are doing good, and live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. We'll see you next time.